that's a tremendous looking trophy.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the #1 PlayStation podcast in the Oceanic, who's joined by your host, Dylan Blight. Today, I said the whole intro without fucking up once. It's great. Today, we're going to be talking about dating. So, welcome to Australia's #1 PlayStation Overwatch dating podcast. Also starring Ciaran Marchant, as usual. And special guest, Cherie Sharona.
Hey, hey.
It's Saturday.
It's
really not,
Saturday,
guys.
though.
It's like Monday. If it was Saturday, I'd be touching Dylan's perky cheeks.
I don't know where you was going to go with that, and I was going to go...
That's actually his second date.
touching his perky
Eyeballs.
cheeks. Cheeks. You, audience, decide which cheeks. Vote now on our Twitter poll.
So, are we going to have a fight or not?
Yeah, so I really just came on the podcast just to stand my ground here.
Wait, what? No, this is an ambush.
That's actually
I wasn't prepared for this.
Yeah, pretty much just gonna take you out back and fight you for Dylan.
That's fine. I guess I'll lie down and take my beatings now, and then I'll get revenge on Dylan on Friday.
No,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna
You
just
won't be
stop his
around.
flight. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
he's
fine.
gonna come back with me instead of go to Sydney.
Is he?
Yep.
Dylan,
I'm
we have like
excited.
a channel obligation to go to Sydney, though. Is this the end of the Explosion Network?
Yeah, no, not
Is
acceptable.
Dylan leaving us? What do we do now?
He's quit. He's resigned. He's decided I'm the one for him, and you're out. Sorry, Ciaran.
You're tearing
the
me
stress got
apart, Dylan.
I feel like I need reference for anyone who doesn't like follow the Twitter shenanigans. Cherie and Ciaran just fight over who's actually my best friend, and on Friday we will be at RTX Sydney, Australia, 2018. If you're there, say hi to me and Ciaran.
Well, not on Friday. If you're in Sydney on
well,
Friday,
maybe.
you
We're in
want to grab
Sydney
lunch,
Friday.
tweet at us. But
See us.
Saturday's RTX.
Saturday's RTX. Catch us at RTX, where Ciaran will be wearing a nice big badge with my face on and a shirt with an arrow pointing towards me on his right hand side. That's like best friends with this guy.
BFFs. And then
How long
on
does
the
it take for a shirt to get printed?
yeah, but I just need one that says the OG, so it's fine.
Well, you're the OG because there's improvements to be made.
No, there's not.
No original's
upgrades.
ever perfect. No original's ever perfect.
I had
you know?
to steal him from someone else, but no one's going to be stealing him from me. So
Well, too
And
late.
Sam gave up.
yeah, he just he admitted defeat.
Yeah, you admitted defeat, but it's fine. It's fine. I'll admit to hands.
I'm like the platinum trophy, and you're like the bronze.
That's fine. You know what Dylan has more of? More bronze trophies than platinums.
So does everyone, though.
Because everybody wants a bronze trophy.
Yeah, he only needs one platinum though.
He doesn't. He needs currently like 131, and he wants 169.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Okay. Moving in to the first topic that we just decided is the first topic a moment ago. As
I
we
got
were
like
talking.
this is like the most trap episode of my life. Like this is.
It's
Look.
actually 3 against 1 over here.
To be fair.
It is.
To be fair, I did ask. I was like, we can just bring this up on the podcast? You said yes. So it's a thing. You could have just been like, no, Dylan, we'll keep that podcast. I would have been like, okay.
I think
Ciaran.
I cut out. I cut out at the no bit. I was like, yeah, no.
No,
But I cut out
pretty
and
sure you
like
was
did
like,
this
yeah,
weird
all
like.
right, if that's what you want to do. So, Ciaran met someone in a place that I'd like to not talk about. A bathroom. I mean, Overwatch. He met someone. He said he met someone on Overwatch and went on a date. Now, we don't want to delve into the actual date. We'll keep that off the table. Don't need to go too personal. However, I need to and want the public audience to know the full details of how exactly you meet someone randomly on Overwatch and get to the point where you take them on a date. Explain. Tell the nerds out there how to pick
How this
up.
happens, yeah.
Well,
Spread your wisdom.
First you need mad skills. But
In
not
Overwatch
mad,
or like just...
not mad Overwatch skills. You need to be a positive player, but you always start and you open up every Overwatch game with mad dad jokes. Just all the dad jokes. You go to the well, you start shouting out the dad jokes. there's a cute laugh there. You know, you build a
Okay, so
relationship
you're
with
both
that laugh.
on all chat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're both on all chat. Cute laugh there, and then you're like, okay, I'm going to develop this and see if I can continue to make this laugh happen. And then it did, and I kept making that person laugh, and then and then we just started playing heaps of Overwatch together. We were chilling, hanging out.
Yeah, but how do you get
Discord.
from the stage of like, A, it's a voice, to B, they're in my area, like real names, etc., etc., etc.?
I don't know.
Who was
It just
making
kind
the
of
moves?
happens. Well, you know, you're just making your way downtown, and it depends. Like, you've got to be charming. As fuck. You have to be charming AF. You know, like, so you got to go make sure you make sure your dad jokes are on point, as I've already said. Personal favorites are pirate related for me, because I find pirate related jokes are the best kind of dad jokes. But you've then got to be able to proceed to continue to be funny. And it starts turning awkward because then, I don't know why, like mid Overwatch game, I called her dad for some reason. And then we suddenly had
Like,
this
as
dad.
in you called her the name Dad, or you
Yeah,
actually
no,
called her
I was
father?
like, she like saved me or something in a game. And I was like, thanks, Dad. And she's like, oh, that's okay, son. And like, just this weird memeing thing happened.
So
And then we
you
just started talking
You
more.
obviously don't, like, in the middle of a game, give away, like, how do you transfer to...
Real
No,
names?
because we just like, you know, we started talking, we were voice chatting, and then we started during the day message chatting through Discord.
Okay, free Discord, okay.
Yeah, through Discord.
That's why I was wondering where the private chat was happening.
Yeah, no. We started messaging in Discord and everything. And then that moved on to Facebook and stuff. And it was just I don't know. It was just a thing. It was good. It was really nice for once.
So how nerdy is this girl?
Like, goes and hangs out and plays board games with her friends.
Oh.
Yeah, like, incredibly nerdy. Like, she's a PC gamer. Which...
That's
Yeah.
hardcore nerd.
Hardcore
we just talk
nerd.
about
Okay, we need
console
to
gaming
scrap
here.
this from this podcast.
No, we talk about heaps of non-PlayStation shit too much. I don't know.
Have you ever listened to the first 10 minutes of this show? It's never about PlayStation.
It's
Not
gaming
since I
related.
impose myself on the show.
like
Today's new though. It's not normally about dating either.
No, today's really weird.
I like how you question it though, because before the show, I was like, "Oh, we'll talk about that on Platinum," and for some reason, you forgot last week where we talked about, like, I don't even know. It definitely wasn't even gaming related.
Well, I thought I could buy myself some time for like a pleasure episode to come up and do it on pleasure. So I was gonna like, buy myself time so I could like, you know,
Dating conversations only end in pleasure explosions.
yeah. Well, yeah, that's fair. That's a fair.
I said
point.
dating conversations.
Well, we
It's in your hands, Ciaran.
Why
we
is
wish
it in
your-
my hands?
Think about
Overwatch
it.
is the new Tinder. Everyone, you heard it here first. But you can't do it on Overwatch on PS4. It's got to be PS. It's got to be PC.
PC, man. Why would you want to play that game on console anyway? I'm sorry.
Fucking, am I right? Ouch. Yeah, I know, right? Who can play Hanzo Kazooie and Gamma Man and Kamuri Sara and that
You
other
started
chick?
off really
Tracer?
well. You
Got 'em.
started off like up here. Like you had a name for like the worst character in the game, and then you like descended from there into.
I got one right by then. I remembered Tracer.
Did you? Oh, of course you remember Tracer.
Yeah, because you were like telling me a couple of weeks ago, you're like, Dylan. No, that was during the Battlefront stream, wasn't it? Yeah, it was during the Battlefront
it?
stream. Dylan, you should
Yeah.
play Overwatch. Why?
You should play
Because you really
Overwatch.
love Tracer.
'Cause
And I was like,
Tracer.
why? Because she has a nice ass and that's why everyone likes it? You're like, no, because she's gay. And you're into that SJW shit, so you should play Overwatch. I was like, fucking hell.
But no, you should play Overwatch. I'm going to buy you a copy, and I'm going to make
You said that during the stream as well. Never happened.
Yeah. Well, I'll just open BattleNet now then. People.
Let's move into some actual...
Some actual gaming topics.
No,
that
that was
aren't
gaming
centered
related.
on
We
me.
talked about Overwatch. It's fine. You've played Monster Hunter.
I have. I put surprisingly 8 hours into that game. Did I say on podcast last week that I was like, I have no interest in this?
You said you had absolutely no interest, and then during the week I saw you'd actually got it, and I saw that you was playing it. You was like, I'm playing it with my friends, and it's kind of fun with my friends, but I wouldn't like playing it online. So don't sell me on it, but try and sell it to someone, I guess, because I still have zero interest.
Well, the thing is, I said that, and then I was playing it on my own as well, because for me, I don't know, beforehand the hype of it being another Japanese kind of full like system where it's really complex and there's a lot of reading to do and a lot of different stages to learn, and I wasn't interested until, one of my friends, because we game share, bought the copy. So I was like, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to play it for an hour and see what happens. And then I started getting super interested in it because just down to the world, like the story's not amazing. The story's there. But down to the world and the ecosystem of that world is freaking awesome. Of just knowing that, there's this creature that you have to track. And you could track it normally, and that's fine. Or you could wait for it to eat something, and it gets really fat when it eats. And then it gets super slow at the same time. And then you kill it then. And then there are teething issues that have to be fixed. Like, at the minute, any story-related content in the game, you can't queue with your friends in until you've each watched the cutscenes on your own. Yeah, so, like, say if you're all at the same story mission.
Imagine if Destiny did that.
Yeah, imagine. Like, it's so... That's the most un-user-friendly part of it. And if it wasn't there, I could just play the whole game with my friends and be super happy with it. And then you start finding more harder creatures, and the world builds, and there's more little subsystems you learn. You have to spend time finding out which weapon you want to use, because all the weapons handle differently and bring different elements in. There's giant gun blades or like swords that turns into axes, and it's interesting to see, especially how your weapon choice fits in with your friend's weapon choice and how that changes fights. All boss fights are completely different, or all creature fights or monster fights completely different for each player. Like, I was playing in group chat with somebody and we were both doing the same fight at the same time, and he was getting so frustrated where I was having the easiest time ever. He was getting frustrated that his bird kept flying away all the time, and he was spent like half an hour chasing it, and I only spent 20 minutes trying to kill it. It's just one of those games that I wouldn't play it on my own just for the sake of playing on my own. I was playing it on my own in the end to like gather materials and stuff before I played with my friends. Like,
well, that's like, so when I was playing Destiny, the first one, obviously, I never played the second one. I basically played all of that game with Sam, and the only time I played it single player was when I would just run around farming materials on a planet, like listening to a podcast. Yeah. And I found it boring as fuck to play by myself. However, the difference between Destiny and Monster Hunter, the big difference is Destiny is like, it's just a first person shooter. Like, so you can play with people, zone out, chit chat. You don't need to be great at it. Like, you just all point a gun, you shoot things. It's not that complicated unless you're doing the raids, at which point that's when like the teamwork and stuff comes into it. Without the raids, though, you don't need to like have any huge skill level. Monster Hunter is way more depth. So I can't imagine you playing Monster Hunter co-op and being able to just zone out like you can in Destiny. Like, I'm not very good at this game. No, you have to.
Even like this stuff with like even the points of different monsters. Like, one of them is like this giant rock dinosaur thing, and it runs through, and it can cover itself in mud, and then it can shake all the mud off and create spots where you can't move through. So you have to be really switched on for that. And it's also about so to be able to capture monsters, you have to get them to, it's like Pokemon pretty much, but harder. You have to get them to a low enough health and then use a trap on them, but you have to set up a trap beforehand and think about how that's going to affect the system and how you get the creature there. But for me, it's stuff like, I always register or rate games on gaming moments where I can, go back and talk about it and be like, that was so goddamn cool. Or like that was, and for me, that happens in Monster Hunter just randomly, where I'll be fighting and hunting one monster and a much larger dinosaur that I have no chance against will come out of nowhere and start fighting with the monster I'm trying to kill. And it'll just make for these cool randomized like cinematic moments, and the game looks fantastic. The game looks really good. The models and the character design's really cool. Dylan, you get a cat.
Yes,
And
I've
it's
seen.
the
I have seen
cutest-
some of the like on
cutest
Twitter. I've
little
seen people
cats.
posting their characters and their pets. I'm like, that's cool. I
And
wish it was
then-
just Pet Simulator.
No,
I don't
it's
actually want
not
to
though.
play it.
But like
though.
when they go on the water, they get their own little lifeboats that pop out of
Yeah,
nowhere.
I know.
It's
That's the only part of the game that interests me.
like, oh my goodness.
There's no.
But yeah, I
porgs,
definitely wouldn't
though.
play it. I wouldn't play this game if you don't have people to play it with, or if you don't have the time to invest in getting better
Yeah, because
at
it's
the
not
game
like
and learning the
4
game.
hours. Blah, blah. I haven't talked to Jack about it. Do you know his whole issue? Because all I know is he tried to play the beta, failed to play the beta, tracked down their copy of the game, got all excited, played it for like what, half an hour to an hour, and then like
No, I think he put a couple hours into it. I don't know how much he put into stream, but he played an hour or two on stream, maybe.
okay, and was like, nah, it's not a game for me.
And I think it's just, I think Jack likes games that, in my opinion of what I've seen Jack play, Jack likes games that reach out and grabs his attention straight away, where Monster Hunter's a bit of a slow
10 hours of tutorials before you even understand the mechanics.
Yeah. Like there's parts of the game where you're just like, I have no fucking clue what I'm doing here. This is fucked. And you're getting through it, and there is a lot of trial and error, especially with the weapons. It can take a very long time for you to find out what weapon you actually want to put time into and use and upgrade, because they do handle so differently and they do change how your character moves so much. The control system, if you is a bit clunky. It's not a traditional hack and slash. You have to remember to draw your weapon, and the different weapons have different combos and everything.
Yeah, I read the game basically only tells you basic combos, but there's more advanced techniques that you basically have to
There's
figure
more
out
advanced
yourself.
techniques and different forms to your weapons, and the more you upgrade them, and depending on what type of weapon, what type of material your weapon's made out of, changes it as well. It is complex as all buggery. If you don't have the time to put into learning the game, or you can't sit through a game and learn it before it really dives into the good part, this is definitely not the game for you. And I think it's lucky to have, experience with MOBAs where you play Dota 2 for 30 hours and the first 30 hours is it's telling you fucking suck.
Or
and
League
stop
of
playing the
Legends.
game. Or League of Legends. I didn't want to mention it because I didn't want to see that twitch in
It
your
just
eye.
hurts your heart still.
And
or-
I just didn't want, my heart's only just recuperating, so...
It's interesting though, the whole Monster Hunter thing, because the last couple of Monster Hunters have been 3DS games, and then before that they were on PSP, and this one's obviously a big console game, and it's coming out at a time and point where there's not much coming out. It's the first big game of 2018, and if you didn't care about Dragon Ball Z last week, basically everyone was just picking out Monster
Yeah,
Hunter, even
definitely.
if they didn't care about Monster Hunter because it was a game to pick up and people are bored. But I feel like a lot of people are going to be hit like Jack, where it's just oh, this may have looked like a co-op hack and slash, but the behind the scenes is a lot more glossary terms.
A lot more, and I kind of
shit.
wish, and I feel bad for Jack, I kind of wish he had been able to get into the beta and experience the beta a bit with it before getting into it. It probably would have swayed his decision a bit more.
Yeah.
But I
So
think
realistically, Kieran, how much time do you reckon you need to put in to sort of get to where it's a turning point for you?
So I think I got there quicker because I was playing with friends, and I was always playing with 4 or 5 people online, and you can go back and jump in people's games that are doing earlier missions again and help them with the earlier missions, but it still helps your progress a lot because you'll get materials and stuff from doing them. I think it depends on your player. I think it took me maybe 5 or 6 hours for me personally for it to even start slightly clicking. I wouldn't say I'm fully adept at the game or confident with the game system still, as I think my game clock's at 9 or 10 hours already, and I'm still learning a lot.
And
There's still,
most people who get really good at the game will put hundreds.
yeah, we'll put hundreds of hours into the game. It's probably one of those games where you play the game for 100 hours and then you're like, all right, now I'm going to start a proper character and I'm going to start again and start from 0 to get better. So
Yeah.
All right, moving on. The biggest PlayStation news of last week was that Glob of War? Maybe.
Glob of War.
Glob
heard
of
of
War?
it?
I don't know. God of War is coming out April 20th. Not the rumoured March release date that everyone was on about for quite a long time. It's actually coming on April. What do you think, Kieran? This is good move or bad move for PlayStation? Because it was
I
like
think it's a good move because March last year
was
March
Horizon territory.
was Horizon territory, but I think Horizon got screwed by Zelda. Not screwed, but like Horizon lost a lot of hype because Zelda came out, what, a week later or 2
Yeah.
weeks later?
Something like that.
And then people, like, one of the common comments I saw on the internet was, well, like, I don't know how I'm going to go back to Horizon now because I'm so in love with Zelda's movement and the game. So, and I think they're trying to avoid that. There's nothing really else major generally comes out in the April window. Moves it back. March is generally, that time period where everybody releases a couple studios do release games. So it's good for God of War to have that period afterwards where it can still, you'll probably have April. April will probably be its complete month. So I think it's a good idea for them.
Cherie, excited for God of War. Do you care about God of War? Have you ever played a God of War?
No.
Never played one.
No.
Do you care about bald-headed men screaming?
Yep.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they're my fave.
They're my favorite category.
Number one. I've never played, and yeah, it's not really something that interests me personally. So
Even the new one. Don't care about like Norse mythology and shit.
yeah, I do. I mean, it's probably something that my husband's gonna play, but something that I'll just be on.
He
the
loves
sideline.
screaming bald men.
Yep. There's number two thing.
It kills me that this game is Norse mythology and not still Greek mythology. Like,
I love it.
I love Greek mythology is my jam, but this style of game is interesting to me. Like, I like this style of game, so it annoys me that the style of game I want isn't going to have the background. But I'm going to be interested to dive into Norse mythology and rip off the
asking
heads
because
of Odin.
like we was talking about it in our group chat or something like that last week, God of War, and I think I said something like I never played 2 or 3, and Tom or someone, I think it was Tom, was like, oh my god, you never, like, I brought a PS3 or whatever basically for just God of War, PS4 just for God of War, something like that, he said. And I was like, I never cared about them. They were boring. They just looked like the character of Kratos was shit. I played the first one back in the day because it was obviously one of the biggest games on PS2 when it came out, and I was like, it's fine, but it wasn't that interesting. And then I never carried along for 2, 3, Ascension, whatever. I played all the PSP ones because they were PSP games. And it's no different than if the Vita had a God of War game. I would have brought it just because it's just supporting the Sony handheld. But I have no like attachment to Kratos. He's a horrible, shitty character as far as I'm concerned. But I'm really excited for this game because they actually look like they're turning into like something of an interesting character. And it's, I don't know, I've been listening. I feel like maybe if you're not that interested, but you're like at least Norse mythology interests you, they've got a podcast. If I can find my fucking phone, we'll just figure this out as I go. They've got a podcast where you can listen to it, and they've been doing like mythology of the show in it. That's got me way more pumped for it. It's called God of War, The Lost Pages of Norse Mythology. And they've been doing like backstory to characters and stuff like that, and like an audio drama type thing. I think I mentioned it once before when I was like teasing it or something. But that's worth listening to if you like are interested, because the part of the game that interests me is the mythology and stuff. The part I did talk about in the podcast, I remember, was when they talked about the language, how they've basically created a whole language for this game. I was like, that's fucking nuts. I need to appreciate the effort that's gone into it.
Yeah, it's just going to be how that translates, I guess.
Yeah, they said like, so it's like based on like old Nordic language or something like that, and they like they cross the old language with like what they speak now in like Finland. It's basically Finnish, but they said something weird. So if you want to like translate it, they basically have to translate their language into Old Norse and then into Finnish, and then you'd be able to understand it. So they basically work backwards. It's like Finnish into Old Norse into the language they've made out. I was like, I don't even know how you get there. That's like some weird shit you've worked out, guys.
So much you get there.
Yeah, but it's like all this effort just to have like emblems and shit written on the wall and stuff like that. And there was that stage where they was talking about having everyone in the game just talk that language, and Kratos would never be able to understand anyone because he's in a new land he doesn't understand. And then they decided not to do that because they thought it would turn off gamers, even though that idea excited me. was like, playing a whole game where you don't understand anyone? That's awesome. That's great.
Somebody will mod it just for you, Dylan. They'll find a way.
Thanks. Just mod that PS4 game for me.
Yeah, mod that PS4 game up and down.
Yeah. So I'm at like a moderate hype level for God of War. It's good to actually have a release date. I hope Sony keeps up this thing though of like, they've learnt their lesson obviously between Last Guardian and all that sort of stuff. They hold their cards so close to their chest now until they're 100% sure a game's gonna come out. Because they could have announced this at I guarantee they could have announced this release date ages ago, but it was just like, not until we're 100% sure it's going to come out will we announce it, because they're trying to be so careful now. And I like it. I appreciate it. Okay. The topic of the week is inspired by Batman Season 2, Episode 4.
Good job,
Whatever the
Dylan. You
actual
got there.
episode's
You
told.
did it. I'm so
Told-
proud of you.
Thanks. That's great. I'm so proud. Pat me on the back when you see me.
Yeah,
That'll be great.
good job.
I can
Cherie,
do that
can you
right
pat him
now,
on the back?
Ciaran.
Oh, that's
Do
why
it,
she
please.
wins. No spoilers for the episode, but the most interesting thing that Telltale has been doing this series, and I think that we can all agree, what I see most people loving so much, myself also, is just what they're doing with the Joker.
I had a mini freak out at the end of my episode. Not to go into like,
Spoiler.
not to go into too many spoilers.
It's great.
But-
But I mean, it's the reason it made it. Everyone, even though everyone hated it, it's the reason it made it onto our top 10 Explosion
Yeah.
Network games. If you want to, if you don't care about spoilers, you can read my review for episode 4 on explosionnetwork.com now. By the way, the Ash loves it. I know. I was looking at his Instagram story. He fucking posted a spoiler video on there, piece of shit. But it was just like a moment from the Joker with a bunch of cry faces, and I know he's loving the Joker.
Oh,
also.
it's just. Did you? All right. So speaking, just so I know, did you end up vigilante or villainous?
Vigilante.
Did you? No, I ended up villainous.
You fucking piece of shit.
I know, it's so cool. Oh my god. Like, it was for me. It wasn't what I like. As Ciaran, the human being, I would have wanted the vigilante ending, but I was like, no, this is my shit for Batman. This is what's going on.
You haven't started season 2 yet, right? You played season 1.
Yeah, I haven't started season 2.
Okay.
Oh my God.
So I didn't like the
Suck.
Joker in season 1. Did you like the Joker in season 1? I was just like, why is he here?
Yeah, I still enjoyed him, but yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah. Did you like him when he popped up in season 1?
I found him interesting. I could see that.
You can see it was going somewhere.
I could see they were
Yeah.
planting the seed for later, that it wasn't like a here and now thing. It was just we're planting the seed for what's going to come.
Yeah.
And that piqued my interest a lot more because of how they're tackling that character and how they're writing that character is absolutely fascinating.
It's definitely paid off this season, but I remember at the time just being like, oh, the fucking Joker again. Can you guys just not use the
Stop
Joker for a
using it,
Batman
yeah.
thing? Like, why does he have to be in everything? But you can get excited because we're all very excited. You should hurry up and catch up on season 2. So the question for this week is inspired by how much we all love Batman. What character or comic book series would you like, or do you think Telltale should take and do something interesting with? Because their writers are pretty good there most of the time. Especially the
Except-
people writing this. So, and
I
what they've
will
done
make
with
a note
Tales.
of freaking Telltale loving their voice actors. For some reason now I can pick out the guy who plays Lee in every
Yes,
single freaking Telltale game they
absolutely.
release. Like playing through Minecraft. I'm like, oh,
Yep.
hey Lee, what's up? What are you doing? Like, no, that's not you're not some warrior. You're Lee.
deep voice.
Like, he's just got a very very easy to pick voice. That's funny. So my thing with Telltale, as I've learned, is I just want them to always do something where they have the freedom to make a story, to do something that has a very grounded universe that they can build from, but not do something that's already been done or relates to something that's currently being done.
You're talking about new
Looking at
IP.
you. Yeah, not even a new IP, but just like...
So what you're telling me is that I sent you a message a couple hours ago, and I sent you the following message. Ciaran, today's topic is what comic book or comic character would you like Telltale to do?
Well,
and you
no,
come to the
but
show
I've got-
today
I've
with
got some
none,
examples.
a new IP, their own idea. You fucking
Well, I
piece
think-
of
No,
shit.
no.
I think anything has the potential to go in a direction that is too predictable.
Cherie is currently experiencing the faces that Dylan and me pull at each other
Yeah.
across.
Because usually I'll do something like that. Kieran would keep talking seriously, and I would pull back and just pull my little face.
Yeah, fuck you.
But yeah, no, I think anything really has the potential to go in a direction that's too predictable and yeah, so I can see from your point of view what you're saying. Just
Even
something
just-
that's going to be a bit new and interesting.
Even just pick a universe, like, because my problem is my most hated Telltale game is Game of Thrones, and for me that's a shame because they could have done so much with the world of Game of Thrones, but because they tied it so closely in with the TV show and what we know is happening in the TV show, it ruined the experience because you had no control. What I would love is for them to do games in like Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter, but don't do anything to do with the stories we know. Harry Potter, I know, right? Do that world, but write your own story for it. Like,
Yeah.
you know, work with J.K. Rowling or whoever's a researcher for Harry Potter for those movies. Work with them and make your own Harry Potter story about Hogwarts, about Diagon Alley, but don't do something that's Harry Potter related. Do something different, like, you know, tell a story of his kids or something.
I believe on the back of the books now, it's all branded under the Wizarding World. Like, that's what just
Yeah.
covers everything. So
Yeah.
it's just like...
Do something in that world. Like, there's so much information to draw from Harry Potter, from Lord of the Rings, that you could build your own stories and still have those throwbacks or those things to grab people, but then make your own characters out of it, which is what, you know, it's what they did with Walking Dead when I fell in love with Telltale, was Walking Dead season 1.
And Walking Dead season 1, based solely on itself, is better than the comic series. Like, judged as an overall like writing factor, and it's 10 times, a million times better than the TV show. So
Yeah, it could
it's
have
just-
easily have gone the other way though. I mean, I haven't played the Game of Thrones one. That's the only one that I haven't played. But yeah, that could have easily have gone the same direction where it is just predictable. It is basing everything on what we already know it to be.
It's like the problem with the Game of Thrones one is there's clear characters that have plot armor, because we were playing Game of Thrones and they were like, this is set between seasons 3 and 4, but we were watching season 5. So when it's like, you know, try and attempt to kill X character, you're like, well, I know this isn't going to work because they're going to be around in 2 seasons time of the TV show, so what's the point? Like, it just takes away some of that control or making it into your story rather than just playing through an episodic TV show, I guess.
And are you currently playing through The Wolf Among Us at the moment?
So The Wolf Among Us is my dirty secret, is that I haven't played it yet and I haven't gone back to it.
Yep.
Um,
Disappointment. This is why you're number 2.
I know. I asked Dylan, I was like, Dylan, let's, you know, play through it or some shit. And he's like, nah, man, I don't want to sit and watch you play a game. I'm like, but I'm just playing through, I've just finished episode 4 of Minecraft. And that game's really interesting because at first the premise itself didn't interest me. And then Dylan told me, hey, it's a lot like Dungeons and Dragons and stuff. You should check it out. And then it's built characters that I really like. I almost cried at the end of episode 4.
oh my god, I was about to say, because obviously like a couple episodes ago we talked about it, and I sent you that message when I was playing it, like, you should definitely play Minecraft, and we talked about it briefly on the show, but not after you've started it. So is it everything I built it up to, and is Dylan is right?
Almost everything you built it up to. I think I kind of wish I'd...
Good enough.
Part of me wishes that you hadn't have told me how great it was and then gone in blind somehow.
Yeah, no, but I felt
would-
like I had to hype it up to
You
make
had to
play
you
it.
had to tell me because I wouldn't have played it unless somebody had given me that heads up. So it's a you know, half of one, 42 dozen of the other. So, but Like, even at the end of 4th episode, I was
I
like,
know,
so
that's the
sad.
moment when we talked about
I
the
was
podcast where I was
so
like,
sad.
this fucking game, I nearly threw my controller across the room. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? This
I'm like, is
stupid
this actually
kid
happening? 'Cause I
Minecraft
thought-
story, and they've done this, and I'm sitting in my room like, what? This is like
they were
Game
just
of
like-
Thrones shit.
The irony of, like, I can't even talk about it too much, but
I know,
like,
I was like,
literally-
why am I getting emotional over this?
like, it literally almost happened earlier in the episode, and I was like, no! And then they say, and then they, like, it changed the event, and I'm like, oh, thank God. Okay. And then they did it! And I'm like, you can't! What?
So sad.
Do it to somebody else!
It's a Minecraft game. Why? Okay, Cherie, what do you got for me? Do you have a real answer? Because Kieran's a fucking horrible person. Did you give me a proper one?
Actually answer the
I,
question.
what?
He did
Yeah,
bullshit
give him
at
a
it.
take 2. Give him a second chance. We
Well,
he's not
no,
gonna
I've said
win.
do things in universes, don't do things based on, or
That was
if
his
you want to be
bullshit
more
answer.
comic book characters, do something like Blade. Blade would be fun.
That's his.
Go,
That's
Cherie.
the thing he just thought of. Then, yeah.
No,
You
I
go.
already
You can
had
beat him.
Blade.
But
I liked.
Just give a better answer and prove why.
Oh,
you should be
okay,
on the show,
Dylan.
not him.
I mean, I really enjoyed the. Don't give me that face, Ciaran. Ciaran's currently giving me a face like this is just bullshit. He's just quitting the episode now. He just blacked out his screen on us. He's gone.
I am still present, audience.
He's a ghost. I really enjoy the DC Bombshells series, comic book series, and I think that has a pretty good potential to go somewhere interesting, like whether you could do it with the individual characters and their backstories or as a whole, and because it's based in a different time and everything too.
Yeah, I was about to
I think
say,
it'd be
for
really
people who
interesting.
don't know what DC Bombshells is, explain what DC Bombshells are.
You can't spoil things still.
No, it's like a premise.
just
Like,
explain
why?
it.
What are
Just
the
explain
premise
the
of
premise.
DC Bombshells?
That, you know, Harley Quinn and her pals, that are these people, team up to do things.
Yeah, so, and I think too, like, the artwork would be really cool with it. So I think, like Batman, you know, you've got Kate Kane as well, who's Batwoman, so you can focus on the two sides of their personas, I guess. But yeah, I think it'd be really interesting to see where they could take that, and it wouldn't be predictable. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll accept it.
Can I add to that I just thought of?
Okay, go for gold. Open
Well,
house.
One will be more pop culture related. One would be Scott Pilgrim versus the World, or just something in that.
See, I was
setting,
thinking of this, but then I was like, how do you pitch that? Because I was like, it's such a, like, who do you want to play as? What do you want to do?
I think it could be, like, it doesn't have to be the Scott Pilgrim. I don't know how you would do it.
You just
love
want a
Scott
game in
Pilgrim.
that universe.
I just want a game that's good in that universe. And my other one, for you D&D lovers, I want a Critical Role Telltale game, because that shit's awesome. And that universe is really
Well, basically everyone in Critical is a voice actor, so there's that
cool.
solve.
So they can already do their characters. It's already in a world where there's flexibility to do their own stories. They don't have to just repeat what was on the show. They're already translating their show into, like, comic books and stuff, so why can't they translate that into a game?
The comic books are origin stories, right?
Correct. So they're the opening stories that we never got to see on the show.
Yeah. I like Critical Role. That's a good one. I thought of Scott Pilgrim, but I'm like, the same as you. I was just like, I just want something in that universe, but I don't know exactly how or what you'd play as and stuff like that. Someone smarter than me, figure that out. Tweet at Brian O'Malley.
Well, I think they could just tell the story of. They could just tell the actual comic book story with a few changes and stuff to it, that, like, options. Because I think the majority of the world, if you haven't gone and read the comic books, the only Scott Pilgrim you've been, you've had in your life is the movie, which I love the movie, but it isn't the full story. There's a lot of stuff changed and.
And like most things, the books are better.
Yeah, very true.
All right.
All right, Dylan, what would you like to play a Telltale game?
I'd like to point out that Dylan kind of stole one of my things here, but you know.
Did I?
I'll give
Did
it to
I?
him because he's my BFF.
I wrote here. No, I'm gonna say. I just thought of one then because I was talking about as I was talking about Scott Pilgrim. I just thought like because of the music factor and like how in the comics and even in the movie they do like the very vibrant like band like pop-up bubbles and all that sort of stuff. A couple of years ago they did a around the time they rebooted Batgirl to the version of Batgirl, like they rebooted Black Canary also, and in it she's in a band and traveling around, and it reminds me a lot of Scott Pilgrim because the band basically just seems like, you know, what's Scott's ex is really in the popular band like
you
Brie
mean
Larson's character. Do you remember the band name? TikTok.
something at Demon Head.
Yeah, something at Demon Head.
The Clash at
Demon Head. That's
Demon
it.
Head.
Yeah, so her band in this comic basically just seems like Clash at Demon Head. So comic book series, Black Canary, that version, where you're traveling around in a band. Now you're like, how's the conflict and action come in? Really weird stuff happens. So they're traveling around, but she'll bump into like zombies and like really random like Scott Pilgrim type stuff. It's like, oh, we're in a band, it's real serious, and then some person will show up with like superpowers and like she has to fight them and stuff like that. So actually, now I'm talking about it, I'm like, might be a comic series that'll interest you because it's like, it's not Scott Pilgrim like love story stuff, but like the I don't know, similar kind of art style and everything too.
Okay.
All right, I got three.
I'll check it.
Number one, jumping straight off the Batman point, is this isn't their own series. This is just what I want them to add if they do like a season 3 or 4 of Batman, whatever they call it, season 3, Court of Owls, because they're my favorite Batman villain. I feel like I've mentioned this at least once or twice on every podcast we do, and every time Batman comes out, the Court of Owls is the best Batman villain, written by the best Batman writer of all time, Mr. Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo.
I don't think Kieran's agreeing here based on the faces.
I don't care if he agrees. It's fact.
Be cool.
So they're just a character I'd love to see in that. Number 2, Tank Girl. Do you know what Tank Girl is, Ciaran?
I do indeed.
So basically based on the art style and the kind of like apocalypse kind of world that it's set in and everything like that, I just feel like after they did Tales of the Borderlands, Tank Girl just seems like a very easy like go over to that kind of thing. Very similar, or not, but close. And Tank Girl's a Australian thing. That should get more Australian.
Australia.
I think you could easily take everything you loved about Tank Girl and make an original Telltale from it.
Yeah. And the best thing about it is just because it's not a franchise that lots of people know or have like high affection to, that they could put it out and people would be like, no, you ruined Tank Girl. Because of course, like the American audience and everyone else probably doesn't know her because she had a movie made about her that didn't review well or something like that. So apart from that, she's only had the comic series.
Was it called Tank Girl?
Yeah, it's just called
Yeah.
Tank Girl.
Okay, fair enough.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Fair enough.
And the
Fair
one,
enough.
Cherie,
Fair
I stole off her, even though we was just discussing it at dinner time, was DC's superheroes, which is is that what they actually call it? What are they called?
Superhero girls.
Girls. That makes sense, yes. DC's superhero girls, which is where they've got Harley Quinn, Supergirl, Batgirl, and Wonder Woman. They're the 4 main ones, right? I think so. I feel like I'm missing one. Maybe there's 5. Either way. They're all like teen girls and they're set in, it's just like a TV series where they're like set in high school. And it's very marketed at younger girls market and stuff like that. And you're like, why would this want to be a Telltale series deal? Like, they don't make kids stuff. We were just talking about Minecraft, which is very marketed at kids. We're enjoying it. It's a lot of fun. I feel like opening up the market of Telltale stuff, because that's the only kid-based series they've got. So I wouldn't mind Telltale having another kid-marketed franchise that people like me could also play and have fun with. Yes.
What about Teen Titans?
Teen Titans would be a good one. Yeah.
Teen Titans would be cool.
But it's like at the same time, like, do you want them to do it based in like the main series where you know who's going to die and stuff and everyone's got plot armor? Or would you rather them do it like they're doing the Batman series where they're quite happy to kill off characters?
Yeah, I
'cause
think
it
that's
doesn't
fine.
matter.
I think with anything they do, they have to do it now in a way that is within its own shell or own bubble. Like it's a self-contained kind of thing where they're not worried about what everybody else is doing. Like how DC talks about people writing for their Superman comics and stuff, is that everybody writes in their own bubble that is what their Superman is, what powers does their Superman have, and it doesn't affect anybody else, but they're just writing their own series. I think, Telltale needs to keep doing that. My question for both of you is, and Cherie, I don't know how much you've played of the Life is Strange. Have you played both of them?
No, haven't played
No?
both of them. So I'm
My goodness.
part way through the first one, so I'm a bit behind
Okay.
eight ball.
Okay,
We never
that's
talk
fine.
about it on this show. It's okay. We're not fans
It's
at all.
It's not an important thing we do. But would you? Okay, Dylan and Cherie, would you like Telltale to tackle something like Life is Strange, to tackle something that is a lot more quote unquote grounded as time travel can be? Would you like them to tackle something like that, like a completely original IP that is grounded in real life and real relationships and stuff? Because for me, my favorite relationship of any video game that's ever been made is still Lee and Clem. And how Liam Clem how their relationship is still affecting my view on Clem in season 3 and hopefully in season 4 of The Walking Dead is amazing, that it actually feels like that. Would you like to see them tackle something like that?
I think that's definitely, I feel, what made a lot of Walking Dead season 1 enjoyable, because it was relatable. It reached you on a different level other than just playing as those as that character. I think that they could do something like Life is Strange. You just got to, I guess, reach to that same undertone of emotion whilst playing it. That's how you're going to sell it, I guess. But still, again, go in that original way. But I think if you can go for more real life issues, real life emotions, and connect your audience that way, I think that's what's going to work.
I think the important thing for if they're going to do a new IP is who's involved from the ground up writing it. This is nothing against Telltale writers, but a majority of them are good at obviously working at already existing IP and building on that and stuff like that. And you note the first season of Walking Dead as being the best character thing they do, where they create these whole new characters in a universe. But all the Walking Dead characters are new characters. Batman's existed, Tales from Borderlands, a couple of those characters, but a lot of the main characters already existed, etc., etc., etc. The person who worked on season 1, they had Gary Whitta, who's obviously writes fiction and stuff like that. Gary Whitta's coming back to work on the last season. That's why last season of Walking Dead's kind of exciting, because they've got Gary Whitta coming back for that. So I feel like if they're going to do a new IP, they would have to hire someone to come in to help them from the ground up work on stuff like that, and not trust themselves enough. Maybe they could, maybe they couldn't, but I'd feel more comfortable looking at it from the outside if they had a Gary Whitta or something like that helping them work on it. But I wouldn't be against them having a new IP that they're good at. It's just what they're known for is working on other people's IP, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. Well, that's that. Let's move on to the next thing. Hashtag every trophy counts. There's no interesting list this week. So fuck everything.
Especially bronze trophies.
There's a whole bunch of bronze trophies, I think. What'd you plat this week, Karen?
I played Undertale. Undertale is done.
And you had an up-down relationship with that game.
I did. I enjoyed sections of it. Then I got to this place called the Hotlands, and it stopped me playing the game every 2 seconds to pointlessly fill in some text from a character that really annoyed me and frustrated me. And I semi-sucked at some of the battle systems, so... But other than that, it was a good game. And part of me actually is kind of sad that I was playing it for trophies. I kind of wish I'd played it normally the first time, and then...
I still feel like... Because remember I said to you that I started up without a trophy guide because I was just interested to play it. and I was just playing it free go, not worrying about the trophies, and the one choice you could fuck up, I didn't fuck up. And there's only that one decision, and everything else in the game you can play however you want. So it's not a game that you need. I don't think it will, like, you can ruin with trophies, because all the trophies are basically putting the money in the dog.
Yeah. Oh my god. Fuck that. Fuck that shrine.
It's
That
so
shrine's
troll.
a piece of shit. It's the worst thing in the world. Especially that they every X amount of coins they make you leave the room and come back.
Yeah.
Like,
How many coins is the max? It's like 350.
You have to get 350 coins, and there's 15 levels of the trophies.
So there's like 15 trophies.
So it
like
starts off with
5 coins.
donate 5 coins and 7 coins, and then
Yeah.
keeps going up until you get to the worst jump for me is it goes 40 coins, 50 coins, 70 coins, and you're like,
So imagine
fuck
walking
you.
up to a box, clicking X, clicking X, clicking X, walking out of the room, back in the room 350 times. The only reason that these exist as trophies is because the Toby Turner, that's who makes it, right? Isn't it? I feel like that's correct. The answer. If it's not, that's the guy who worked on Undertale or Underswan, whatever that game's got, something like that. He hates trophies, so he just made all the trophies because he was required to put trophies into the game. Just made them all these stupid dog ones, because that dog thing isn't in the original version of the game. That's not in the
I
PC
was reading
version.
that it got put in.
He added in the dog thing just to troll trophy people. Made it an easy platinum, but just made us feel really stupid by walking in and out and in and out and in and out.
In and out, and so that's when I started at 12 o'clock. I finished at 25 past 12 that day. Lucky for me, Triple J Hottest 100 started at 12, so I was like, I'm going to listen to that while I do
What
it.
up, Kendrick Lamar? All right.
No.
No.
Oh,
No.
Yeah, thank you.
No.
I just tweeted at him and I was like, oh no.
Yous are both fired.
I don't think you can fire Cherie.
Can just never hire. Blacklisted.
Oh, good.
Conkunta.
He hired me. Well, he got stuck with me. He didn't really have a choice.
Would you ever play Undertale? Do you know? Did you ever look at this? Do you know what this game is? You don't really like RPG stuff, do you? No, you don't. It's funny though. Did you find it funny?
In sections,
Like
I found
legit
it funny.
Yeah.
In other sections where I was like, it's trying to be funny, but it's just pissing me off now.
Okay, I found it quite funny. I never got annoyed at it. What do you think of the soundtrack? Because that's my favorite thing.
Soundtrack was really good.
I talked about it on
Soundtrack
the
was
vlog. I
very,
did,
very
yes.
good.
Fucking amazing soundtrack.
There were some sad sections, like the mamatorial stuff. That was
Yeah.
really fucking sad.
Yeah.
And then, actually, another part that tear jerked me a little bit was then, I can't remember what the skeleton's name was. It isn't Papyrus, it's the other one. You take him to dinner randomly, and he tells you this story about how he used to knock on the door that you came out of at the start of the game, and that he had this whole relationship with Mama Toriel and stuff, and then one day she stopped answering, and I'm like, oh no,
Yeah. It's
oh no.
the first time you play it through, you're like, oh, this is just a troll, funny, weird game. And it is funny, I think. But when you delve into all those sort of stories and the characters, is the reason that there's so much Undertale fan fiction. Like, have you Googled that yet? Just spend
No, I
5
haven't.
minutes just looking at Undertale fan fiction and just being like, wow, people really like this game for some reason.
Yeah, no, I
Like,
know how much people like this game, and even stuff like there was the lady in the armor that chases you around for a portion of the game, and even her ending, I was super sad for, and that boss fight took me ages, and then after you beat her, there's a section where you're still fighting her though, and I didn't realize that, and I fucked it up and had to do the whole fight again.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Mail explosion time. Michael C. question. We're tackling
What up,
this
Michael
week.
C?
How successful were you at getting through your pile of shame in the summer? And or Dylan adding on to the question is, or in general, how good are you at getting through your pile of shame? Go, Ciaran. That's the
I have the biggest pile of shame ever.
Yeah.
I have so many games where I'm just like, play it for a couple hours and then.
Have you ever set a system to try and work through it, or do you just not care?
I don't. I care enough that I would want to set up a system, but I don't want to set up a system so I can physically see on a piece of paper or on a screen how terrible I am at finishing games.
You know that website, How Long to Beat It, or howlongtobeat.com or something like that? I remember once I went through, wrote down every single game, and this is like between 100 to 200, games between my Steam, PS3, PS4, everything. Inserted it all into account and how long to beat, so I could look at it all ordered in how long it would take to beat each game. And I started working through a couple Steam ones, and it just got to the point where you're like forcing yourself to play games that you don't really want to play just for the sake of
getting them out of your library.
Through your pile of shame. And that's why you hit that wall of this is not worth it. Like it's just like if I'm not having fun, it's not worth working through your pile of shame.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Really.
How are you going with your physical media stuff? Have you started
Well,
anything?
do you mean my Blu-rays? Because it's the same sort of thing.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Didn't you say you want to finish every game or be finished with every game?
Yeah, so my rule to try and stop my pile of shame building up this year was that every game that I buy in 2018, I have to have finished by the end of
everything
the
that
year.
you buy. Sorry, I thought it was everything you order.
Yeah, no, I could. Okay. That's because that's like hitting that wall of what I was just talking about, like working through my old stuff. It's just like, fuck all that stuff. There's some stuff I'd like to go back and beat, but just forget that. But from now on, just try and control yourself and just play through everything you buy this year. And I've brought one game so far this year, and I have The Impatient, and I haven't started that yet. So I'm 0 for 1.
He's already started the fellowship.
I'm
Even
0
just-
for 1.
For me, I think I've started finishing more games since I started regularly streaming.
Yeah,
again.
that helps. I felt the same when I was streaming a bit, and I feel like I should just... If I had more time to stream, it actually helped me just go through games. Because you feel like you're doing work at the same time as playing through games. So
That's why I put Resident Evil 7 on the schedule this week, so I'm like, I desperately want to play through that game.
yeah, smart. I think that's smart. Good
Just
stuff.
making sure you've got the time aside to do it.
Yeah, definitely.
How's your pile of shame?
Yeah, it's bad. I think there's forever new games coming out, or even like new games that'll go on sale that you'll be like, oh, I'd like to play this. I'll put it on. But yeah, I think my biggest thing, like going back to whether you're playing through to enjoy the game or not, whether you're playing through for trophies, my biggest thing is always going through playing games and taking too much time on your collectibles or your trophies instead of actually enjoying the game. So I think I've kind of got to the point where I'm like, I'd prefer to go through, play the story, and then come back to everything else, but it's just trying to get the time to actually come back to it instead of play something new.
What do you mean get the time? What are you doing? Like, it's not like you've moved house or moved cities or anything.
Or gone overseas or started
Or
building
like
a
done
human.
anything like that. You're in Tasmania this week. I thought you were just going to be in Tasmania playing games the entire time. Just be like, Dylan, go edit something, and no, that would be me if I did that. Okay, fair enough.
That would be you, because remember it was our secret project. You're like, well, when you just come over to visit me during Melbourne, I'll just lock you in a room to edit that. I'm like, that's great, Ciaran. Thanks for that. I'll do that. That's a great use of time. Sounds brilliant.
Well,
No.
we could
So yeah,
probably-
I feel like my aim is to do better with my pile of shame this year. I don't want to go back and work on it, because there's like some games it's like 20, 30 hours. It's like, it's just never ending. My Blu-ray thing is like, I would actually like to watch all my pile of shame of Blu-rays, because at most it's like, it's an hour and a half, it's 2 hours each. It's like more of a manageable thing than 30 hours per thing. It's like, that's just not going to happen.
There's something for me, especially going back to a game that's in my pile of shame. I always feel the compulsive need to restart the game when I go back to it. Like,
Yeah, because you
say
forget
if
what
I
the fuck you was doing.
Yeah.
I forget what the fuck I was doing, but B, there's something in my head that likes to get a complete experience out of a game, not like, do half a game and then 6 months later do the other half of the game. Like, if I'm going to do it, I want to do it.
You want to be like connected and hone in on it.
Yeah,
And complete it.
yeah, definitely.
But
Which
I suppose my pile of
causes
shame
more
advice is, like, it sucks when you feel bad. You just look at a list of stuff that you'd like to get through, and maybe try and work through a bunch of it if you can. But at the same time, don't become the slave to your pile of shame. It's like, just, it's not fun. If you're not having fun working through it, it's not worth trying to get through it at all. But if you do have a pile of shame, do what I've done with my Blu-rays, which is that I've got all my unwatched Blu-rays in like a cube in my shelf here. And the other day I pulled them all out and I put them in order so that the ones at the front were the ones that are more interesting to me, which means that it'll catch my eye. Like, so, like, I'm more likely to be like, oh yeah, I forgot that thing, because I had a bunch of stuff that I hadn't even watched hidden behind stuff and I forgot I had, and stuff like that. Gotta work for it. Gotta do it. Good job, everyone. Fantastic episode. High five. High five, Ciaran.
Oh wait, you can't do it because you're not here. 'Cause you're not the bestie.
It's okay. My time will come this weekend. Dill and I are going to spend so much time together. There's no Cherie to take him away from me this time on a trip. It's all, he's mine.
Not like PAX.
We'll see how it goes. Thank you for listening to the show, everyone. This week's been a lot of fun. Don't forget you can tweet at Platinum. What the fuck is the Twitter account? Is it pod or is it podcast?
No, it's Plat Podcast because I wanted it to be Plat
Thank you.
Pod.
Everyone keep up doing the thing. Tweet the Telltale games you want at Plat Podcast. Follow Explosion Network at Explosion Pod. Follow me.
Honestly, people, don't even worry about tweeting at the Plat Podcast because he's not going to remember how to log in.
No.
Let's
the
be
details
honest.
are
He's
saved.
going to be
It's
trying to
fine.
log into Plat Pod.
It's fine. I got it. The details are saved. You can follow me on Twitter at Vivaladil, VIVALADIL. You can tweet me pictures of cute porgs. Ciaran, where can people follow you?
People can follow me at your boy Ringo on Twitter or twitch.tv/Explosion Network, where I'm going to be playing Resident Evil 7 in the dark.
Are you actually going to play it in the dark? Because people
Yeah, I'm going to
won't
grab a lamp tomorrow.
I was about to say, can you please buy a lamp? It'll give me if I click onto your stream and you're just not sitting in the dark, beady-eyed, I'll just be like, no.
Can you shine it from underneath your face instead of at your face?
Maybe I could do that. Yeah,
Good job.
we'll work it out.
Where can the people follow you?
On Twitter
Yeah, sure.
at CM_Henry HENRI.
Good job.
Yeah.
What do you tweet about?
Mostly just stupid shit at you.
Yeah. Good job, everyone. Have a great afternoon if it's the afternoon, and if it's the morning time, don't forget to eat breakfast because it's the number one most important meal in the day. See you next week. Blat blat.
Hey, it's Ashley here to let you know what you can expect from the Explosion Network in January. Feeling nostalgic for 2017 already? Then you should check out the Explosion Network's Best of 2017 Top 10 lists over at explosionnetwork.com. We'll let you know the best games, movies, TV, and more from last year. Got some disposable income that's burning a hole in your pocket? Then why not spend it on some sweet Explosion Network merch? Head over to designbyhumans.com/shop/Explosion Network. Pick up a shirt, or a mug, or a hoodie, or even a sticker. They're all things that you can buy on the shop and they mail out to you. It's crazy. Of course, our weekly shows continue. Pleasure Explosion Mondays, Platinum Explosion Tuesdays, and Grandstand Gurus Thursdays, each at 12 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time. Catch our live streams on twitch.tv/Explosion Network and keep your targets locked on explosionnetwork.com for all our explosive content. Plat. Sound effects. I don't know how to end this ad read.
Come back
Good
next
luck
week.
editing this,
Dylan
Dylan.
and me will be the bestest friends again, and sure he'll be out of the picture.
Because he's killed me.
We may. I was like, maybe we record drunk Sunday night.
Do I need to bring a mic in my bag?
Maybe.
Why are we talking about this while we're recording?
Because this will be after the credits, and it's a teaser. You're listening to this now? Will we do a live RTX plat? Find out on Tuesday.
Ba-da-ba-da-da,
Fade out.
da-da-da-da.